So we have 3 more days left. How much did we do in one day? Yeah, so not much, isn't it? Just 3, so 6 pages. So about 20 pages. It's not good. It's not good. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد قال المصنف رحمه الله ونفعنا بعلومه وبكم آمين وفي كل شجة يمكن فيها المماثلة القصاص. Thank you, جزاكم الله خيرا سيدي. وفي كل شجة يمكن فيها المماثلة القصاص ولا قصاص في عظم إلا في السن وليس فيما دون النفس شبه عمد أو شبه عمد إنما هو عمد أو خطأ ولا قصاص بين الرجل والمرأة فيما دون النفس ولا بين الحر والعبد ولا بين العبدين. ويجب القصاص في الأطراف بين المسلم والكافر ومن قطع يد رجل من نصف الساعد أو جرحه جائفة فبرأ منها فلا قصاص عليه وإن كان يد المقطوع صحيحة ويد القاطع شلاء أو ناقصة الأصابع فالمقطوع بالخيار إن شاء قطع اليد المعيبة ولا شيء له غيرها وإن شاء أخذ الأرش كاملا إلى آخره. So as you can see, it's just reading through, nothing to understand. It's just وفي كل شجة يمكن فيها المماثلة القصاص. So any injury, cutting, any injury, for example, shajja means cutting. Okay, for example, shujja wajhuhu. If you remember in Uhud. Okay, شج وجهه وانقلعت رباعيته. So that was the if you remember Rasulullah was injured in Uhud, isn't it? Okay, so for example the legs, etc. So in there we have got this شج وجهه. So the face of Rasulullah was injured, so there was scar actually. Okay, so and then وانقلع رباعيته. So رباعية, so as you know, so we have 4 teeth, isn't it? Between what do you call these two? Sorry? Yeah, so these 2, isn't it? Yeah, sharp ones. But in between 2 we have 4, isn't it? So ثنائية is the first 2, رباعية is the next 2, which is just next to that big one. So in the hadith it says in Uhud وانقلعت رباعيته. So one of the second row, so it has fallen off. Okay, Rasulullah. So shajja is being cut. So any injury which is measurable, so there is qisas. Okay. ولا قصاص في عظم إلا في السن. But what about the bone? So there is no any revenge in any bone except the tooth. So for example, if you break someone's bone, can it be broken accurately as you did, it's not doable, isn't it? Yeah. So, but what about the tooth? Yeah, it's doable. So because of that. So nothing to understand. It's quite like a smooth actually. We'll just read through. وَلَيْسَ فِيمَا دُونَ النَّفْسِ شِبْهُ عَمْدٍ. Okay, so in terms of the judgment, anything less than the murderer, we do not, there is no any shibha amd. So that is either error, mistake, or amd, deliberate. Okay. So for example, the broken nose, for example. So it's either deliberate or either mistake. Okay, so what does it mean? So we do not apply the hukum of the shibhu amd on anything except the life. Okay, so that's what it means. وَلَا قِصَاصَ بَيْنَ الرَّجُلِ وَالْمَرْأَةِ فِي مَا دُونَ النَّفْسِ. And also there is no revenge between male and female in anything but the life, because their life are equal. But anything else there is no equality. So based on that, the Hanafis made these judgments. So for example, if some man chops off the hand of a female palm from the joint, so do we apply revenge in there? So Hanafis, as you can see, no, they say no. But what about if it's between man and man? Yes. Okay, and then their justification, mainly it is narrations, athar. Okay, but then the latest Hanafis, for example Imam Muhammad and the others, they try to justify that. They said, yeah, because the role is not equal. The man's hand is not equal. Do you understand? So it is just, but the real proof is the athar. But whatever they made up afterward is just, it's just made up, But the actual thing is the athar. Umar radiallahu anhu decided that. Finish. No any answer. وَلَا بَيْنَ الْحُرِّ وَالْعَبْدِ. And the same thing is, there is no revenge between free man and slave in anything but only in the life, because their life is equal, isn't it? But what about, for example, hand? So as you know, the hand of, again, as I said, is athar. But again, the latest Hanafis show the reasoning, saying the hand of free man is different to the hand of, for example, a slave, because second is commodity, first is not. So it's just that thing, Anyway, وَلَا بَيْنَ الْعَبْدَيْنِ. And the same thing is in between two. But anyway, as I said, the main proof of all of this is athar. Yeah. وَيَجِبُ الْقِصَاصُ فِي الْأَطْرَافِ بَيْنَ الْمُسْلِمِ. But what about the Muslim and non-Muslim in terms of the limbs? Okay, so we say no, we apply the revenge in terms of the life and in terms of the limbs also, between Muslim and non-Muslim.
Is this only for the zimmi?
So whatever we said in there. So for example, musta'min, do you remember, do I apply revenge for the musta'min? No, it should be permanent. So we're talking only about the zimmi. Yeah. Yeah, so it's, as you see, it's quite easy. ومن قطع يد رجل من نصف الساعد أو جرحه جائفة فبرأ منها فلا قصاص عليه. So let's suppose that you cut someone's hand, okay, or you cut his belly. Jaifa means cutting that opens up to the inside, So it's not just cutting the skin, but just opening, removing the skin. So you can see the inside. That is jaifa. Yeah, so if that what happens, and then he gets healed, okay, so it heals, so there is no revenge. So all of them are based on the thing. So as you can see, all of that used to happen during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, So and Umar radiallahu anhu used to judge based on his own ijtihad. Okay. Well, Arabians, wild people, isn't it? So they used to even do. So for example, in our time, normally we do not do, isn't it? Yeah. So it's, but in that time they used to do this. I mean, cutting each other, etc. In fact, I saw in the clinic. So in one of the clinics in London, this guy came. He was letting blood, from the. And then he showed his belly, and it was just injured. It's in East London, a group of young people, They just tried to kill him. It was old guy, I think something about 60 plus, white man, and group of maybe drug dealers or whatever. They tried to kill him. فلا قصاص وإن كانت يد المقطوع صحيحة. My question to you guys, why is it صحيحة? It's feminine. رأس masculine. Sorry? How do you know that? وإن كانت يد المقطوع صحيحة ويد القاطع شلاء أو ناقصة الأصابع فالمقطوع بالخيار إن شاء قطع اليد المعيبة ولا شيء له غيرها وإن شاء أخذ الأرش كامل. So now let's suppose that there is revenge between two people. So one person chops off the hand from the, the wrist from here of the second person, and then but the second person, his hand was paralyzed, not moving, paralyzed. Yeah, so what do they call this illness? Paralyzed, isn't it? Yeah, so it doesn't move. Yeah, but the person who has cut off, okay, or other way around, sorry. So the person, the victim, his hand is healthy, but the offender, his hand is paralyzed. Okay, so now we say you have two options. Either you take revenge and you do not have any extra, okay, or either you get arsh. Arsh is penalty for the physical damage to the body. That is arsh.
Could you not chop the other hand off, the one that's not paralyzed?
Yes, so we do, if it's right, so right, left, then left. We do that. Sorry? So it will be decided. So for example, if it is two hands, okay, so then for one hand we give the one whole price of the human. Okay, so one full price of the human, so it is 100 camels, depending on the condition. So if it is deliberate, so then mughallad, or else, so it is 100 camels. Okay, it will be evaluated by that. It will be evaluated by that. So, but then, as you see, as you know, do you know the numbers in Hanafi school? If Sahaba specify number, what Hanafis say? What Hanafis comment on that? What do they say? They say it's mawquf, means it's coming from Rasulullah alayhi salam. Do you understand? Yeah. But in my own understanding, it's not from the Prophet, but it is the ijtihad of Umar radiallahu anhu. Do you understand? Yeah, so it means if it is 100 camels, so what is the value of 100 camels in our time? So one hand, the value of one hand is half of that, because human has two hands. So each hand will have one. Inshallah, he's going to explain. And we'll have just slight disagreements. Inshallah, he will explain all of that. And same thing is about the legs also. Or for example, the fingers. All 10 fingers equal one human value of one human, which is 100 camels. So each finger will have 1/10. Do you understand? But what about if person has? So inshallah, we're going to have all of that in here, inshallah, coming. ومن شج رجلا فاستوعبت الشجة ما بين قرنيه وهي لا تستوعب ما بين قرني الشاج فالمشجوج بالخيار إن شاء اختص بمقدار شجته يبتدئ من أي الجانبين شاء وإن شاء أخذ الأرش كاملا. Okay, so it's again another thing. Obviously it doesn't fit into the rational reasoning, but it's again athar. Okay, so do you know, for example, this is two corners of the head. Do you know? It's normally where horn would grow in the animal. So it is the two top parts. Okay, so you can measure that, can't you? Yes, you can. So means there is revenge. So if, for example, you cut someone's head between two horns, okay, but mashallah your head is Limpopo, big head. Okay, so So mashallah, he's Saudi guy. Saudi people are very, faces quite tight, So that much is it will cover between two horns of them, But for you, it's just tickling, place, just one spot, just one dot. So what do you do? What that Saudi guys will do? So he has two options. Either he will cut only that bit, that much, or either he will get the full compensation. Does make sense rationally? To me, it doesn't make, because between two horns, it is full limb, isn't it? Isn't it? So if that's the case, it should be the same in the revenge, chopping off the hand. For example, Egyptian guy with that much palm, and Saudi guy, this is his hand, So you should cut only, do you understand? Doesn't make sense. It's full limb. So, because the Saudi guy, he has been injured like full limb, between two horns. So you have to do the same thing even with the other guy with big head. Even if it will be longer cutting, do you understand? Okay, but it's just athar, just follow. So listen and follow. That's the main criteria of the athar actually. So that's why I said that in the jinayat, you rarely find the smell of Abu Hanifa. It's mainly Athar, Abu Yusuf, Imam Muhammad, because they are the Athari orientated Hanafi scholars. Okay, so that's a bit strange. Okay, Sayyidi. ولا قصاص في اللسان. There is no revenge in the tongue. Why? Because someone's tongue is mashallah, from here reaches to Pakistan, and someone else is just very sure. It's not measurable. You never can measure it. ولا في الذكر إلا أن تقطع الحشفة. And there is no revenge in the penis except the hashafa. Hashafa means the head, because there where the joint is, so you can measure it, I don't know who's going to measure it. I'm just teaching, I'm really good. I'm really happy that the women didn't come, It's only humans can discuss these things, the real, genuine issues, Okay, Sayyidi. So it's just general principle. Anything which is measurable, there is revenge. Non-measurable, no, only compensation. You have no choice. Finish. That's it. وإذا اصطلح القاتل أولياء المقتول على مال سقط القصاص. So as soon as the killer, the offender agrees with the relatives of the victim, and in terms of like financial compensation, so as soon as they agree, no revenge anymore. No one can demand the revenge. But the offender has to make the payment. قليلا كان أو كثيرا, does not matter if it is just little amount of money or a lot. فإن عفى أحد الشركاء من الدم أو صالح من نصيبه على عوض سقط حق الباقين من القصاص وكان لهم نصيبهم من الدية. So as soon as one of the relatives, the people who have a right for the revenge, as soon as one of them will make agreement for the as compensation, so the rest lose their right for revenge. Now only financial compensation for everyone. Yeah. And normally what happens, so for example in Saudi, I have been there, it was car crash, I was in Riyadh, this guy actually, he has crashed into, and it was, I don't remember, most likely it was driving for more than 120 kilometers per hour. So the judge did class it as deliberate murderer. Okay, so what they were suggesting, in there the people who have a right over it is the male relatives to whom the victim is related to the male, asaba actually. Okay, so his problem was that his solicitor, his lawyer was telling him to find one of them, take him aside and agree for them. As soon as one of them would agree, the rest wouldn't be demanding the revenge, But the Saudi people are very clever, okay, in these type of issues. Clever in terms of they stay together. Whenever there is problem, they stay together. They just team up. As soon as problem happened, all of them just contacted one another, just to make sure that no one goes for it, Yeah, so it is good and it is bad also, because it's good because in these type of critical situations, definitely there will be one or two people through whom shaitan can destroy you. Do you understand what I mean? But if all of the people in the group will have the same mindset, the same desire, no one can break them. Do you understand? So as soon as there is one hole, you can finish off everyone in there, regardless how big is the thing, Just find one person, one hole, just you can smash them. So that guy was quite mature person. So from one side he was very depressed, but from the other side he was very respectful towards this family, saying, "Look, I was unable to talk to any of them. They just teamed up, Yeah. So, but anyway, later they brought these shuyukh, scholars in Saudi, and through them he agreed for big amount of money, and he was happy. He was happy. So he said, "I very highly respect this family because I was unable to go into them." Yeah. Okay, Sayyidi. وإذا قتل جماعة واحدا عمدا اختص من جميعهم. So if group of a people kill one person deliberately, so revenge is from all of them. So it's not one for one. All kill him. Okay. So killing in here does not mean actual killing, but helping also. So holding his hand, all on preparing. So all of that will be included.
If they ask somebody else to kill them.
Sorry?
If they ask the second person to kill,
Yeah.
are they the person who planned it? Are they including that as well?
As far as I remember, yes. Yeah. So anyone who did cause, okay, the direct one, and also so for example, if all of them did that deliberately, but non-deliberately, no. Okay. So for example, I will call someone. Okay. So I was the person who called him to come to that place where he will. So I will be killed also, unless I will be able to prove that no, I called him for food. Okay. So, but anyway. وإذا قتل واحد جماعة فحضر أولياء المقتولين قتل لجماعتهم ولا شيء لهم غير ذلك. Okay, so but what about if one person kills group of people? Okay, so if all of them will demand, okay, so only this person killer will be killed, even if he killed, for example, 100. فإن حضر واحد منهم قتل له وسقط. But what about if only one will come and demands revenge? So that person, the killer, will be killed, and the rest of the people, the relatives of the rest of the victims, they lose their right, because that's it, it's gone. The killer is gone, killed. ومن وجب عليه القصاص فمات سقط عنه القصاص. So okay, so one person, killer, and we have to take revenge from him, but he died from illness. No revenge. Okay, so it's gone. وإذا قطع رجلان يد رجل واحد فلا قصاص على كل واحد منهما وعليهما نصف الدية. Okay, so if two people will come to chop off the hand of one person, two people chopped off, so there is no revenge, but there is only one option: financial compensation, diya. وإن قطع واحد يميني رجلين فحضر فلهما أن يقطعا يده ويأخذ منه نصف الدية ويقتسمان نصفين فإن حضر واحد منهما فقطع يده فللآخر عليه نصف الدية. Okay, so one person chopped off the right hand of two people. Okay, so what do they do? And both of them came for the revenge. Okay, so in here, his right hand will be chopped off, and also he will compensate half of the diya, because he chopped off two hands, isn't it? Yeah. But what about if only one of them will come to demand? So obviously we chop off his hand, and for the second one, he will compensate the diya. وإذا أقر العبد بقتل العمد لزمه القواد. If a slave will admit committing a deliberate murder, so there is revenge. Well, isn't it a bit strange? We said that if I will, for example, you have a slave, I come to claim my debt from him, we said it's void. Only when he gets freed, then I will go to chase him up, isn't it? But in here he's contradicting, isn't he? He's saying, no, there is revenge straight away.
Because that was for the commodity side of this.
Exactly, yes. So for the revenge, okay, for the physical revenge, there is no delay. But for the financial, we delay, because slave does not have financial position, but he has his body. Okay, so that will be chopped. Okay, anyway. ومن رمى رجلا عمدا فنفذ السهم منه إلى آخر فمات فعليه القصاص الأول والدية للثاني على عاقلته. So if one person shoots another person and bullet kills the first person, and behind him there was another guy, and bullet hits him also, so both die. Okay, so what would you say for that? So it's two murderers, isn't it? What do you say about this?
The first one amdun and the second one is khata'an.
Yes, the second is only diya, because the second, it was not amd. Okay. So as you see, it's quite easy. Okay, Sayyidi. Kitab ad-diyat. Now we are going to talk about the types of the compensations. Hey, خدا. Yeah, so we just read through this very quickly, because there's nothing to discuss.
So just a quick question on that. You know, if, for example, someone knocks someone's tooth out,
Yeah.
then you have to take that person's tooth out as well.
Yeah.
What if they would just fight? So how would that be? Is there, let's say, two people are fighting,
Yeah.
and he knocks him out, but that was due to a fight. So do we still apply the punishment?
Yes. Yeah. So only the defense could be that he was defending himself. So for that, no punishment. Yeah. إذا قتل رجلا شبه عمد فعلى عاقلته دية مغلظة وعليه كفارة. If someone kills the second person but non-deliberate, شبه عمد, so then diya, major diya, مغلظة, غليظ is thick, مغلظة is major, complicated. Okay, is for his aqila, and he has to make the kafar. Now my question to you guys, why is he saying for the shibha amd? For the amd also? What is for the amd? Just qisas. Okay, Sayyidi. ودية شبه العمد عند أبي حنيفة وأبي يوسف رحمهما الله تعالى 100 من الإبل أربعا. Okay, so the compensation of the Shibh Amd, according to Shaykhain, according to Imamain, it is 100 camels, but in 4 quarters. Okay, so 25 of specific type, inshallah he's going to explain, and 25, and that's how quarters. So how do we do the quarters? Arba' is quarter, because arba' is coming from the root of arba'a, 4. Ruba' is quarter. Arba' is quarter. Okay. So 25 bint makhad, so 25 of 1-year-old camel, و25 bint labun, and 25 of 2 years, and that how 3 years and 4 years. Okay, so one would say 1 year means completed 1 year and went into the second. So that how completing 1 year, completing second year, and that how. ولا يثبت التغليظ إلا في الإبل خاصة فإن قضى بالدية من غير الإبل لم تتغلظ. Okay, so in terms of تغليظ, making the complicated major punishment, so that is applied only by camels. So whenever he says diya mughalladha means it's only camels. But if he will be paying the compensation by anything else, you cannot fulfill the compensation, like complication in the compensation. So because now, can you guys explain how is it complicated? Why making this, 25 of this, why is it complicated? Why is it major? Why is it major punishment, financial punishment? Yes, Sayyid. Point of view, I mean, from your point of view, could be right. Is there anything else? Yes, Sayyidi. The main reason to make it complicated is to make the punishment severe. Diya mughalladha means severe financial punishment. So it's because so the person will be going and looking for that specific age. So it will give him hassle. That's the meaning of diya mughalladha. But if it is just 100, just random, he will go to one farm, he will say, I'm buying 100. No, he has to go to look into the passport and the zodiac sign just to make sure that it's bint labun, bint makhad, and bint. So that makes it complicated. Just to give him, you can say, hassle. Just to give him, just to make him to get tired. So it's not just paying the money, no, but go and look for yourself. Well, in our time, for example, in Saudi, it's not difficult. Okay, so even the mughalladha, they pay with the money, and even the camel, they just make phone call. So taghlid in our time, you cannot apply the taghlid by camel also. So no more taghlid. Understand? But then, can we do some other way? Well, as long as it accords the athar, because the athar specifying the numbers, and as you know, according to the Hanafi principles, whenever Sahaba state number, we cannot change it, because we assume that it is coming from Rasulullah alayhi salam. Because brain cannot set up numbers. Does make sense? Obviously, for me, it is more Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad, their mindset. because even the numbers, Abu Hanifa goes into, even for that one, he reasons for that. Okay, anyway. وفي قتل الخطأ تجب به الدية على العاقلة والكفارة على القاتل. But what about if it is a mistake, not شبه عمد but خطأ? Obviously there is diya, but it's not مغلظ, isn't it? It's not major, it's not complicated. والدية في الخطأ 100 من الإبل أخماسا. But in the mistake, in the diya of the قتل خطأ, it is أخماسا. So it is 5. Okay, 100 will be, so it is 20. 20 بنت مخاض, and it's on the same way. Okay, so camels, 1 year old, 2 years old, etc. وفي العين 1000 dinar, and in the eye it is 1000 dinar. Okay, ومن الورق 10,000 dirham. So for the eye, for one eye, so 1000 dinar, so 20 dinar. Okay, just one. So if, just one. So it is 500 grams of gold. How much it will be? I think 1 gram now is about 40 pounds, isn't it? Let's say 45 pounds. Yeah, I think 40. Yeah, 22,500 pounds for one eye. That's the compensation. ومن الورق 10,000 dirham, and for the silver, so it is 10,000 dirham. So 10,000 dirham it will be. ومن العين. Actually, yes, that's correct. Yes. في العين. I thought it's في العين. It's yeah. He's talking about the deer. Correct. Yes, he's right. Ain means gold in here. Yes. Okay, so it is 3.5 kgs of silver. How much it will be? Silver is cheap, isn't it? Okay. So anyway, the the dirham in here, the dirham of the silver is the same dirham that we use in the herbal medicine. Okay, but sometimes they do differ. So the dirham of the silver is different, for example, to the dirham of the barley. Okay, so that is slightly different. But anyway, let's see. Okay, so anyway, 1 dinar is 5 grams. So 1 dirham is
3.5. So more accurately, 3.45. That's the most accurate. 1 dirham. So 3.45 grams. Okay, and 1 dinar is 5 grams. Okay. And also in here we have big disagreement among contemporary scholars. Okay. So for example, do you know what is the nisab of the gold in zakat? How many grams of gold? 100. That's the most popular Hanafi position. 86. That is the Shafi'i position. So in Hanafi we have two opinions: either 90 grams or either 100 grams. So that is the interpretation of 20 dinars. 20 dinar equals either 90 grams or either 100 grams. Both of these two opinions are coming from Syria, contemporary scholars. Okay, do you know Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Halabi? He says 100 grams. 20 dinar equals 100 grams. Okay, and Sheikh Adib Kallas, both of them passed away, rahimahumullah. So he says there is 90 grams. Okay, both are reliable Hanafi mashayikh. Okay, so because they do not use it anymore, you know, dirham, so that's why we have got a bit of disagreement, you know. And also, in terms of the measurements, most of the time there is disagreement between the Hanafi measurement and the Jumhur. Jumhur all the time oppose us. Okay, so anyway, yeah, correct. Yes, in here, وَمِنَ الْعَيْنِ, because he's talking about the diya. Diya min al-ibili, and the atf, وَمِنَ الْعَيْنِ. Okay, so it's not وَفِي الْعَيْنِ. Okay, so min al-'ayni. So now just keep this in your mind. So 100 camels equals 1,000 dinars. So this actually is the you can say evaluation of that time. But later, okay, they did not change it. So which one is the default? Is it camels or is it dinars? What do you think? Camels. But mashayikh, so the latest mashayikh, they say both are default. In my own understanding, Umar radiallahu anhu, because Arabians, so the default for them is camel. So Umar radiallahu anhu was evaluating the camel in that time. So that was the price, that was the value. Do you understand? Okay. So anyway, so but then the mashayikh, the latest mashayikh, they treat the diya as we treat the zakat. So because in the zakat, how many default evaluation do we have? In the zakat, nisab. Evaluation of the nisab. How many default evaluations do we have? Yeah. So how many? Okay, I will give you guesses. 1 or 2 or 3. Yeah. So it is. No, just say no. No. And then I'll say yes, you are right, and then I will answer, you know. But you'll say no. Once I remember, I used to do, you know, the campus. I used to study in Darul Uloom, and we used to live in campus. And during Ramadan time, during Ramadan time, some of the families have sent iftari for us. And as you know, in Pakistan, iftar is like full portion. So there will be, you know, like a pikora and, you know, like a curry and rice. So everything, just understand, and roti, etc. So then I went. I'm just standing in the line, and the person in front of me, this guy. So the person who was giving it to us. So he was asking, how many people you have got in your room? Okay, like room mates. Okay, so anyway, and then obviously we live, in total we have about 6 people in one room, big room, but I used to take for 2 of us, me and my friend.
the person before me, so he most likely used to live something about 4 or 5, you know. But he was preparing his mouth to say 3 or 4 on the way that person who was giving would think that he's saying 13 or 14, you know. Do you understand? So Maulana's, you know. No, I understand he's hungry, but everyone else is also hungry. It's, you know, like fasting. Everyone is fasting, but he was preparing his mouth, you know, to pronounce it on the way. So he will not lie, but also he will get a lot, you know. So anyway, so when I say I'm giving you gas, 1 or 2 or 3, so you have to make your mouth to say that it looks like 1 or 2 and also 3 also, you know, how you can say it. So it is 2, the default nisab evaluation, but because how do we evaluate the nisab? Either based on the gold or silver. Understand? So, but both are default. But in our time, what do we say? We say you choose. Both are valid. Either your nisab is when you get 700 grams of silver, which is 200 dirhams, or 100 grams of gold, which is 20 dinars. Do you understand? But the most popular opinion became the gold, because when you consider it as a silver, it's too low, isn't it? So even poor person will have to pay zakat. You understand? So anyway, in here, so do we have this similar situation as zakat? Our mashayikh say yes. I think most likely no. Umar radiallahu anhu was establishing the camels as a default. Okay, because as you can see, especially like a severe punishment, financial punishment, in that time, is it by paying gold or is it by going and looking for the camels? Camels. So it means the default is only 1. But anyway, our mashayikh say no, it's 2. So we take it as like that. Okay, say. ولا تثبت الدية إلا من هذه الأنواع الثلاثة عند أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى. According to Abu Hanifa, diya will be paid only by these 3. So it's either camel or either gold and silver. وقال رحمهم الله تعالى منها ومن البقر 100 بقرة. Okay, so according to Sahabain, so these 3, and also diya could be paid by cows, which is 200 cows. So what about if it is a punishment by the cows? So how do you do? ومن الغنم 1000 and the sheep 2000 sheep. Do you guys have idea about the price of the cow and the, so for example 2000 sheep, the value of 2000 sheep, will it be similar, for example, to the value of 200 cows? It's not, isn't it? It's different. And will that be similar to the value of 100 camels? I don't think it will be. I think it's different. But in that time, that was like that, you know. So now, do we have multiple default values? So obviously, contemporary mashayikh would say yes, because the latest analysis go with all of them. But I think most times it's only 1. Everything else. And everything else is just based. Umar radiallahu anhu was evaluating the value of 100 camels in that time. Okay, so means we will just go with the camels. Yeah, that is here. Because it keeps on. ومن الحلل 100 حلة كل حلة ثوبان. And in terms of the clothing, if it is like compensation with the clothing, so then it is 200 clothes. And each cloth is pair 2. Okay, so it means 200 pairs of clothes. ودية المسلم والذمي سواء. The diya of Muslim and Dhimmi equal. وفي النفس الدية، وفي المارن الدية، وفي اللسان دية، وفي الذكر دية، وفي العقل إذا ضرب رأسه فذهب عقله الدية، وفي اللحية إذا حلقت فلم تنبت الدية، وفي شعر الرأس الدية. So in all of them above mentioned, full diya. Okay. Just keep in your mind anything which is one in the body. By removing that, we give full diya. Understand? So for example, marin. What is marin? This is marin. How many of them you have in your body? One. I have one. I don't know about you guys, but I have one. So it means this equals the value of one human being. And also the beard. So let's suppose that you go to the barber and he shaves and then it doesn't grow back. Okay, so it's one full diya. Okay. Entire thing. You know this Chinese problem, it's really strange, isn't it? For me it looks a bit strange, you know. You know this, what do they call this virus? I think it's something like AIDS. They made up this game like AIDS, but then they said actually there was nothing called AIDS, you know. It's from that. What's this? Okay. Okay, Saini. وفي الحاجبين دية وفي العينين دية. Obviously, so anything which is in pair, so for example 2 eyebrows, so when you damage both, so that is one whole diya, isn't it? But what about if it is half, one only? So that's half. So whatever grows in your body only one, so that equals whole diya. Okay, but if it is 2, so both equals 1 diya. وفي الأذنين دية, the ears, شفتين, the lips, أنثيين, testicles, وفي ثديي المرأة دية, and 2 breasts, وفي كل واحد من هذه الأشياء. Obviously, whatever grows in pair in your body, so both equals 1, 1 equals half. وفي أشفار العينين الدية. أشفار العينين, do you know the eyelashes, isn't it? Eyelashes. These, yeah. So if all is gone, so that's one whole. وفي أحدهما ربع الدية. But if it is only one, so it's quarter. Why quarter? Why not half? Exactly, top and bottom. So it is 4, isn't it? So it's not 2, but it is top is 1, bottom is 1. So each of them is quarter. So I think for that we need the testimony of the experts. Okay, Sidi. وفي كل إصبع من أصابع اليدين والرجلين 10 الدية. Okay, so for the fingers, 1/10 of a diya. Same thing about the toes, 1/10. Why we cannot say it is? It's not 1/10, but 1 out of 20 parts, because it's 10 fingers and 10 toes, so it's 20. Why we cannot say that? Exactly, functions are different. Mainly it is based on athar, but maybe rational reasoning. Hands, fingers perform different act to the toes. Yes. Yeah, full. So if it is on hand, is one half dia, including all of them, you know. Yeah. One hand and one foot. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. So this is one, that is one. والأصابع كلها سواء, so all of the fingers are same. So you cannot say, for example, thumb is stronger, so it should be more than, for example, index. But all of them are same. وفي كل إصبع فيها ثلاثة مفاصل. So in each finger, so there are 3 joints, isn't it? 3 of them. Yeah. ففي أحدها ثلث دية الإصبع. So means, so for example, one finger is 1/10 of a dia. So means one of them is third of that. Yeah. So it's just calculation. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's how it will be. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So as you see, it's based on athar. So for example, even the fingers, this is our interpretation. This is our interpretation. But then we have this other. The actual athar says, Sa'id ibn Musayyab says, in each finger, 1/10 of a dia, until it becomes 5 fingers, because after that it will become half. So then scholars disagreed. As far as I remember, Malikis say, so if you chop off 5 fingers, so that is 50. But if you chop off 6 fingers, so then you pay 35, because that is half. So it means we consider it as half. As soon as it exceeds 5 fingers, then we calculate everything as half. So one thing, so 5 was full, each of them. But as soon as it will be 6, so then for each finger, half of 10th. Do you understand? Interpretation. But then Hanafi said, no, each of them will be as 1/10. Okay. But then some said, no, this Ibn Musayyab said that 5 is full, so 10th. But as soon as it will be 6, so that is 55. And then another finger, 60. Another finger, 65. Do you understand? So all of them is just interpretation of the athar. Sometimes irrational also. So it's just athar based. Okay, Sayyidi. And any finger which has got only 2 of them, so that is half. So for example, thumb. So if you chop off only 1, so that is 5. But what about index? If you chop off 1, so that's 3, isn't it? Yeah, so it's just that calculation. وفي كل سن 5 من الإبل والأسنان والأضراس كلها سواء. So but in terms of tooth, so how many tooth do I have in total? 32 or 33. If you are alien, so that's 33. But if you are human, so that's 32. Yeah, so they say it is, for each of them is 5. So in total, how many it will be if it's 32? 5. How much it will be? 160. Yeah. So is it going, is it rational? So the teeth will be more than the value of a human, isn't it? But as we said, it's based on athar. So that's why most of the time we do not try to back it up by rational reasoning. It's just athar. Just follow. Don't question. ومن ضرب عضوا فأذهب منفعته ففيه دية كاملة كما لو قطعه كاليد إذا شلت والعين إذا ذهب. So anyway, it's not for the diya, it's not necessary to chop off, but if you damage it so it cannot fulfill its function, so that is actual diya. So it's not necessary for it to go. So for example, you smash someone and his hand is still there but he cannot move it, so full diya of the hand. Okay, so different types of injuries. So you have got the translation. وَالشِّجَاجُ عَشْرًا. So injuries are 10 different types. الحارصة والدامعة والدامية والباضعة والمتلاحمة والسمحاق والموضحة والهاشمة والمنقلة والآمة. Okay, so just look into the interpretations. So all these different types of injuries. And ففي الموضحة القصاص إن كانت عمدا ولا قصاص في بقية الشيء. And only in one type, which is الموضحة, only on that one we do have the revenge. And what is the mudaha? Mudaha, it is, do you know, for example, you cut, for example, if it is brain, do you know the actual brain inside, it is covered by that very thin curtain. Okay, so the mudaha that he is talking, it is cutting the head to the point that everything will be cut and reaching to that flesh, but not touching that flesh. Understand? And same thing, for example, in terms of the other parts. So anything which is measurable, so the qisas is only in there. So for example, in terms of the head, okay, so if you smash, so hashima, if you smash the head, so do you know the bone of the head will be fractured? Okay, like it falls several parts. Can you take revenge on that one? You cannot. So means no revenge. You cannot measure it. But what about, can you cut to the point that you open it to the point that you can see that flesh, you know, curtain, and stop there? Yes, it is doable. So they said revenge will be applied only on that one and not the rest of 10 different types of injuries. وفيما دون الموضحة ففيه حكومة عدل. But what about anything besides mudaha? So he says, then we bring the judge. Hukumatu adlin. So expert will decide what to do. So he will say, okay, so this is, for example, skin is gone. So for example, for this one, for the treatment, plastic surgery, we need 10,000 pounds, and for the moral injury and the pain, etc., another 10,000. So in total 20,000. Okay, so experts will know. Okay, evaluate the surgery and pain and etc., and the moral injury. يا خدا. وفي الموضحة إن كانت خطأ نصف عشر الدية. Okay, so the mudaha, if it is by mistakes, obviously he has to pay diya, isn't it? So what is the diya of that? So he says half of 10th of the diya. Okay, so which is 5 camel, because 10th of the diya is 10 camels, so half of that is 5. وفي الحاشمة عشر الدية. Hashima is when bone is fractured. والمنقلة عشر وفي المنقلة عشر ونصف عشر. So munqila is when you break the bone, so bone moves to different dislocate, when you dislocate the bone. So munqila is dislocating the bone. So that is a tenth of so that is 15 camels, because tenth and half of tenth, which is 15 camels. Or if it is, for example, with the gold, so how much did he say? 1,000, 2,000 dinars. So what will be, so it is 30 dinars, isn't it? 30 dinars of gold. Actually, 300 dinars of gold. Are you guys good in maths? For me, maths doesn't make sense. I don't understand why maths should exist. So I do understand the principles, but I don't know why. So maybe in astronomy, yes, because you have to measure the minutes and seconds, etc. But in everything else, why maths should exist? I don't understand it. Maths doesn't make sense to me, except for the astronomers or astrologists, if you do that. وفي العامة ثلث الدية. To be honest, I don't remember what is the meaning of amma. So it is, for example, in the head, but what amma, I don't remember, I cannot recall that. Just double check, okay? وفي العامة ثلث الدية. وفي الجائفة ثلث الدية. جائفة, it is jaifa is when you cut it and it opens up. Okay, so when you cut skin, you just rip off the skin. So that is the jaifa. Thuluth al-diya, 1/3 of the diya, which is 33 camels, for example. فَإِن نَفَذَتْ فِيهَا فَهِيَ جَائِفَتَانِ. But what about if it will open up from both sides? So, for example, spear, you throw, so it opens from this and comes out from the other. Or for example, the hand, jaifa, but from both sides it's open. Okay, so that is 2 crimes actually. So it means 1/3 of a diya for one side and 1/3 on the other side. So that is 66 camels. وفي أصابع اليد نصف الدية. Just a moment. وفي أصابع اليد نصف الدية. And in each of the fingers there is half of the diya. Obviously we are talking about the mistake, isn't it, and not the amd. Not the shibhu amd. We're talking about the mistake. Yeah, so all of that will go back to the inkanat khata'an. So it goes back to the khata'. And all of the previous ones will go back to the shibhu amd. Where is the shibhu amd? Yeah, so he's talking about the khata, but anyway, وفي أصابع اليد. Just a moment. Yes, so it's five fingers, yes. Anyway, just go back to the previous page. So, for example, we spoke about the limbs which is in pair. Okay, so 1 equals half of a diya. Okay, and what's the most important part of the hand? Is fingers. So that's why. So 5 fingers will equal half of the diya. So the diya of 5 fingers and the diya of the entire palm are exactly same. It's applicable on both shibh amd and khata, both, yes. اوكي سيدي. فإن قطعها مع الكف ففيها نصف الدية. Okay, so if 5 fingers will be chopped off with the palm, so that's also half. Okay, so regardless if it is only 5 fingers and the rest of the palm is there, or entire palm, so all of that is half half of a diya. وإن قطعها مع نصف الساعد ففي الأصابع والكف نصف الدية وفي زيادة حكومة عدل. Okay, so but what about if the hand will be chopped off from here? Okay, from the middle of the arm. Okay, so obviously the palm is half of a diya. But what about the rest? We ask the expert to evaluate that. Okay, so it is the evaluation. So means half of a diya, and for the rest it will be حكومة عدل. Okay, but it will not reach to the half. Okay, it will not reach to the half of the diya. So for this half, for this extra, maybe quarter, he may say quarter, or 10 extra camels, for example. Okay, وفي الإصبع الزائدة حكومة. But what about if someone, for example, has 6 fingers? Okay, so and then all of 6 fingers are chopped off. So 5 fingers, it is half of the diya. But for 1 extra finger, it will be the judgment of the expert. Okay, which will not reach. Exactly the diya of the full finger. اوكي سيدي. وفي عين الصبي ولسانه وذكره إذا لم تعلم صحته حكومة عدل. Okay, so newborn baby and someone damages his eye or tongue or penis, private place, the genitals. So if we do not know, if we cannot locate that it is functioning, it is healthy, okay, so then حكومة عدل. Okay, so then we just take the statement of the expert. So as you can see, because it's based on the athar, it's contradicting with the previous statement. Am I right? With what is stated previously. So this position, this opinion, is contradicting another very explicit contradiction, another statement. Which one was that? Who remembers? He says, وفي عين إذا لم تعلم صحته حكومة عدل. So we do not give the full. For example, in one eye it should be half of a diya. But if it is the eye of the child, but we are not sure yet that it is functioning. Okay, because he doesn't look, so we do not. So he says the judge will decide. He's not saying half. So it is contradicting, explicit contradiction with the previous statement. Which was the previous statement?
Is it a major for a minor? First, previously said there will be compensation.
Okay, yes, that's generally, but we have more specific. Do you remember he said some person with a paralyzed hand chops off someone's healthy hand. What was the revenge? Paralyzed hand. So in that paralyzed hand, non-working, we have certainty that it's not working, was equal to the healthy one. But in here, no, it's not equal. He's not willing to give the full, I mean, of the diya, half of a diya, you know. Why? Because we're not sure. But in that we were sure, and so it is based on athar. Based on athar. Okay, Sayyidi. ومن شج رجلا موضحة فذهب عقله أو شعر رأسه دخل أرش الموضحة في الدية وإن ذهب سمعه أو بصره أو كلامه فعليه أرش الموضحة مع الدية. Okay, so let's suppose that now we have this case in which it is the موضحة injury. What's the موضحة injury? So it is head is broken, and we actually, so the the damage has reached up to that curtain. موضحة. With that, person has lost his mind. So brain is not working anymore. What was the diya of the mudiha? نصف عشر الدية. نصف عشر الدية. Okay, half of the tenth of the diya. Okay, but what about the brain? Entire, because it's only one, isn't it? So he says in here one will go into another. So it means he does not have to make two separate payments. Understand? In here actually he's saying half of the tenth, so that is 5. So when you give the entire diya, which is 100, so 5 of that 100 is classed as for the mudiha also. Means there is no two separate things, payments. وإن ذهب سمعه, but what about if it will affect on his hearing or eyesight, for example? So there is two separate ones. Okay, so means how much it will be. For example, the person, victim, he has got mudaha, but also he lost his eyesight. So what is the compensation? So we said two separate payments. So what is the payment? Excellent. It's one. Yes. Half. Excellent. That's what it is. So obviously for me it does not make sense, isn't it? Because losing the brain is even bigger than losing the eyesight. So why, for example, for the eyesight, losing the eyesight is independent, but for losing the entire brain, so it will be joined. Okay, so it's just athar based, So that's why I do believe that it's not going with the mindset of Abu Hanifa, because rational, he overrides the isn't it? Rational reasoning for him is quite strong, isn't it? The reasoning which is taken from Quran and the mutawatir is strong, isn't it? But as you can see, it's just athar based. Athar based. ومن قطع إصبع رجل فشلت أخرى إلى جنبها ففيها الأرش ولا قصاص فيه عند أبيها. Okay, so let's suppose that this person deliberately cuts the finger from the joint, the finger of a person. So because of the pain, the second finger is not functioning; it lost its function. Okay, so what do you think is going to be the punishment? Why? He cuts deliberately one finger, second stops working. Qisas and qisas for two or how many? For one, and the second? Yeah. Arsh is penalties. Okay, so it's just qisas for one finger will be chopped off, and for the second, 10 camels. Yeah. ومن قطع سن رجل فنبتت مكانها أخرى سقط العرش. So let's suppose that you pull out this the tooth of some person deliberately, and then it grows back, so there will not be penalty for that. ومن شج رجلا فالتحمت الجراحة ولم يبقى لها أثر ونبت الشعر سقط الأشعة عند بيع. Same thing is about the injuries. So if it will heal and there will not be any scar, etc., so there is no penalty. Same thing is about hair. So you, for example, throw a seed, for example, on his head, and then his hair grows back. No financial compensation. وقال أبو يوسف عليه أرش الألم. And Abu Yusuf says no compensation of the pain still there. وقال محمد رحمه الله تعالى عليه أجرة الطبيب. According to Imam Muhammad, he has to pay the treatment, for the treatment. Normally in the Masail of Qada, they go with the opinion of Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad because they are more experienced in the judgments, and Abu Hanifa does not have experience on that one. I don't believe it's the statement of Abu Hanifa anyway. وَمَنْ جَرَحَ رَجُلًا جَرَاحَةً لَمْ يَخْتَصِّ مِنْهُ حَتَّى يَبْرَأَ. So because of that, so because of the possibility of healing, we do not apply the revenge until we wait how it will end up. Sayyidi, shall we have a break? Just about 10 minutes, Sayyidi. I think today, inshallah, we can do up to the ma'aqil. So we do this and we do the qasama. So from now, just reading through. As you can see, nothing to, just atharibe. So we just read through. So alhamdulillah. Even though we do not do the half of the jinayat, so if we can do quarter, that's good. Students will just read the rest. And that's done. Okay, Sayyidi, just 10 minutes break. We have about half an hour. Okay, so the rest is just for reading for yourself. We just turn to the chapter of Qasama. What we are going to do is we have two more lessons, Saturday and Sunday. So in each chapter, I will just give you brief explanation of the entire chapter. It's just reading, as you can see. I'm not explaining, isn't it? Yeah, so today maybe I explained only one issue, that's it. Or else everything, as you can see, just reading. It's translated. So I will just... so today what we're going to do is, we do up to the hudud. So what do we do is, so we have about half an hour. We just finish off the Qasama and Ma'akil also. It's quite easy, 2 chapters. So I don't know, let me see. Faraid, again, nothing to explain. Wasaya, okay, so Siyar, maybe there are few bits which I have to comment. So jihad, Siyar means jihad. Ikra, it's very enjoyable. Adab al-Qadi, maybe there are few things that I have to explain. Da'wah, okay, claims, etc. Okay, so yeah, I think Da'wah will have to do a bit more. I will just highlight the issues which I'm going to explain. Udhiyah is, the halal haram things, we have hadar ibaha. Said, nothing to do. Ashriba, yes, because we have this Hanafi position, we have to just understand, isn't it? Only that, or else it's also, in terms of nabidh, beer, drinking, just to understand that, even though if it's non-official Hanafi position, we have to understand that. So I'm going to comment on that, yes. Stealing is nothing to, I think we can do, we'll finish off in, Saturday, Sunday. It's easy, inshallah. It's just reading. I'll just do brief explanation, and you guys have about, I don't know.
Everyone to, by next week, if they read everything,
Yeah.
so you can ask questions as well.
Exactly, if you guys have a question. So I do expect you guys to ask me maybe in the chapter of Qadha maybe, and Da'wah, because that's a bit complicated. That requires a bit of thing, yeah. Everything else is like straightforward. Okay, Sayyidi. So Qasama, what is the Qasama? Qasama is the criminal, you can say, issue. Dead body found somewhere and no one is admitting, and there is no any sign which we can trace to find the killer. And also in the human life is not ignored, so someone is responsible. We cannot ignore it like that. Okay, so what do we do? That is the chapter about. Okay, Qasama. Qasama is coming from the root of Qasama, splitting, sharing. Okay, because in here, shared responsibility of the nearest congregation. So it's because of that it's called as Qasama. After this, you guys are requested to study Sharh. After completing this, so your teacher is responsible only to help you out until you get used to the language of the Sharh. So it means not the entire book of the Sharh, but I would say maybe something about maximum of 30-40 pages of Sharh book. And I advise you guys to study Fath Bab al-Inaya, written by Imam Ali al-Qari. It is the summary of Fath al-Qadir, Sharh Fath al-Qadir. Sharh Fath al-Qadir, it is the commentary of Hidayah written by Kamal ibn al-Humam radiallahu anhu, one of the muhaddith, hadithi orientated Hanafi, no any book compensates from another book. So we have Al-Binaya of Aini, amazing book, and Fath al-Qadir. For me, if you want to choose one, I say go for Fath al-Qadir. Okay, even though Binaya is amazing. Okay, both are amazing, but Fath al-Qadir is quite strong. Fath Bab al-Inaya is summary. Okay, you can say extracted from the Fath al-Qadir, written by Ali al-Qari. Yeah, and it was very popular in Central Asia. Everyone used to read, and it was Sheikh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda radiallahu anh passed away recently. So he is the one who did introduce it to the Arabians, or else we Asians, okay, Mongolis, Indo-Pakistan and Central Asians, we used to read that a lot. Okay, and Sheikh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda has introduced the book to the Arabian audience. Now it became the most popular Hanafi short sharh of the fiqh, one of the best books. So after completing this, you guys need to go for that one. Yeah. So if your teacher will train you on that terminal, even though the language of Ali al-Qari is very easy. Yeah. So just reading with the Sheikh, maybe 30-40 pages, more than enough. Then you will get used to it. You can finish off the rest. Very beautiful book. Okay, Sayyidi. قال المصنف رضي الله عنه ونفعنا بعلومه وبكم آمين. وإذا وجد القتيل في محلة ولا يعلم من قتله استحلف 50 رجلا منهم يتخيرهم الولي بالله ما قتلناه ولا علمنا له قاتلا فإذا حلفوا قضي على أهل المحلة بالدية. If a dead body is found in some location, okay, and we don't know who is the killer, which means that there is proof of murderer. Okay, but if there is no proof of murderer, we do not apply any of that. So could be maybe a heart attack or whatever. Okay, and what is the sign of the murderer? So how do we decide if person is killed or not? What do we do? You guys should know.
Check for wounds.
Yeah, so is it me? I'm not going there. Complete your answer, correct answer. But
Look for signs of
حكومة عدل will look for the expert of the field who will confirm. Now question, does he have to be a Muslim? In the general condition we say yes. Okay, in the general condition we say yes, because it is based on the issue of righteousness. In the other issue of righteousness. Okay, but anyway, for example, anyway, so that is about this. And if we do not find the killer, so what do we do? استحلف 50 رجلا منهم. So 50 people of that area will be chosen by al-wali, the relative of the victim. He will choose 50 people saying this, and 50 people. So, and then judge will ask them to take oath. Saying what? Saying, Billahi, I swear by God, ma qatalnahu, we did not kill him, wala alimna lahu qatilan, and we don't know who has killed him. فإذا حلفوا, if they take oath, قضي على أهل المحلة بالدية. So then that area, entire area, they have to make the compensation. Okay, so 100 camels. So exactly as we have mentioned in the prayer. So anyway, ولا يستحلف الولي, but the owner of the body will not be taking oath. Do you know the relative? The one, for example, if it is a man, so his son is charging the people. So his son will not be included into the oath.
Sheikh, you know the diya, is it taken from those 50 people or
No. So that area, entire area. So obviously, so all of that is based on athar. Okay, so but for me it makes sense because the blood cannot be ignored, isn't it? Cannot be ignored. So someone has to compensate, but who? Okay, but isn't it that it's possible someone has killed the person and brought the body to throw somewhere else? Well, yeah, that's possible, but just because of that possibility, we're not going to ignore the relatives without isn't it? So it's one of those issues which is quite difficult, which is quite difficult, tricky issue. Okay, Sayyidi. وَلَا يُقْضَى عَلَيْهِ بِالْجِنَايَةِ وَإِنْ حَلَفَ. And also, he will not be paying the compensation even if he will take oath. وَإِنْ أَبَى وَاحِدٌ مِّنْهُمْ حُبِسَ حَتَّى يَحْلِفَ. And if one of them, 50 people, will refuse to take oath, so he will be jailed until he takes oath or he admits that he knows or he is the one who killed. Okay, so in terms of killing, what do we do? What is the maximum limit of jailing someone according to the principles, Islamic principles? Obviously, jail is introduced by ijma, and there is no any textual proof for that, except few narrations in which Rasulullah tied up some Bedouins in just outside of the mosque, isn't it? But that cannot prove the possibility of jail. So the establishment, the possibility, the validity of jailing someone in Islam is set up not on textual basis but on the ijma, consensus, but not on textual. Okay, so what do we say? What is the maximum limit of jailing someone? But if he does not? No, I'm talking about general condition. Because jail does not exist in Islamic textual evidences, isn't it? So for example, Quran does not say if someone commits X, Y, Z, then jail him. We have got punishments in Quran, but jail is not one of them.
You just bring an expert.
So? Okay, expert. So what is he going to look at?
Would it be that requirement, like if you keep him at this amount, then if he did it, he would admit?
Exactly. That's the main point. So expert will decide, for this type of crime and this type of personality, how long he can take until he speaks out. So it is quite subjective, isn't it? So that's why we just take the statement of the expert. And most of the time, the expert is the judge in imprisonment. Okay, so for example, if it is the matter of 200 pounds, okay, missing. So how many days you think a person would just speak out if it's just 200 pounds? Just one day. But if it is 1 million, so how long a person can take? Longer, isn't it? That's a bit longer. And the psychologist, so expert will actually give his opinion. So anything so it is just the opinion of the expert. وإن لم يكن يكمل أهل المحلة أو يكمل أهل المحلة كررت الأيمان عليهم حتى يتم 50 يمينا. But if the people of that area, they do not come up to 50 people, so it's only, the people who can commit this crime or who may know about it is only 5 people, and the rest are women and children. So what do we do? So they will repeat 10 times each of them just to get 50. Do you see the sign of the Athari mindset? Because it's 50, so it has to be 50. No, but I think if it would be the position of Abu Hanifa, so he would say it's only them. Because by repeating, one person repeating it 10 times, it's not changing anything in him, isn't it? So rationally, it does not make sense. Do you understand? But it's Athari based. So number means strictly number. So I think it is more looks like Abu Yusuf and not even Imam Muhammad was like that in early stage, but later he started getting inclined towards Abu Hanifa. So I think it's most likely it's the position of Imam Abu Yusuf rahimahullah, in my understanding. It's not from Abu Hanifa. Anyway, ولا يدخل في القسامة صبي ولا مجنون ولا امرأة ولا عبد. So these category of people, they do not get involved into. So because we only look into the people who may commit sin or who may be aware of it. Children and women, they do not do, isn't it? But if it would be my decision, so definitely I would include some of the women, because they could be aware, isn't it? Sometimes women plan for it, isn't it? We know so many cases. But anyway, athar based issue, so Hanafis, I mean contemporary Hanafis, do not go against it. And also wala abd, slave, I will include them. ومن وجد وإن وجد ميت لا أثر به فلا قسامة ولا دية. And if there is a dead person but there is no sign of murderer, so we do not do qasama. Okay, and as we said, expert will decide if person is killed or not. ولا دية, there is no دية. وكذلك إن كان الدم يسيل من أنفه أو دبره أو فمه. And also, if person is dead but there is blood from his nose or from the back passage or from his mouth. Because in normal condition, do you know that from the illness this can occur also. Okay. فإن كان يخرج من عينيه أو أذنيه فهو قتيل. But if blood is coming from his eyes, okay, or from his ears, so that he is killed. So as I said, expert doctor will, I think there is some type of doctors, medical doctors, criminal, what do they call, criminologist doctors, they have this, isn't it? What do they call him? Do you know forensic doctor, maybe it's them, yeah. Do you know the post-mortem things they do? Yeah, so they do have experts of the field. Okay, Sayyidi. وإذا وجد القتيل على دابة يسوقها رجل فالدية على عاقلته دون أهل المحلة. It's also based on athar. Let's suppose that one person in his car bringing a dead body. Okay, so the responsibility of the financial compensation is on his aqila, on his relatives. Okay, what would you comment on this one? Exactly, so he's just doing good, isn't it? So why to, so it's just based on athar. So it happened, most likely it occurred during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu. This person was bringing on his camel. So they said, okay, so you and your family are responsible for the compensation. So because the most important thing is, we do not have a killed person with no responsibility. But who is responsible? So in this case, it's those people, Yeah, so I would say in this scenario, mostly I would say maybe Baytul Mal, wallahu alam, just to compensate his relatives because they lost someone. But this guy is trying to do good, so why to involve him to all of this headache? وإن وجد القتيل في دار إنسان فالقسامة عليه والدية على عاقلته. If a dead body is found in the house of someone, okay, so he is the one who is going to take oath that he did not kill, and his relatives are responsible for the diya. Astaghfirullah. Okay. ولا يدخل السكان في القسامة مع الملاك عند أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى وهي على أهل الخطة دون المشترين ولو بقي منهم واحد. Okay, so we have these sukkan. So let's suppose that I'm living in your house. I'm renting your house. Okay, house belongs to you. I'm just renting. Dead body is found there. So is it me who is responsible or is it you? So he says you, owner, and not the one who is renting. Okay, and what's the meaning of the owner? So he says Ahlul Khitta. So in that time it would work, but in our time no. So Ahlul Khitta, for example, Iraq was conquered. So after the conquest, Muslim general, so he gave the plots to the people, to the the people, to the warriors. They are the owners. So if some treasure is found, so it belongs to them, and not the people who bought from them. You understand? So in our time, can we implement it? No, it's just over. How do you know that? How do you know the owner? Over 1,000 years ago, after the conquest. You understand? But because it was when this book was written, I mean, when Zahir Riwayah was written by Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad, it was, the name was still recorded in the Diwan, so you could easily go and find to whom it belongs. It belongs to Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, for example, or it belongs to Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu. Means they are responsible, or treasure belongs to them. But in our time, you cannot do it. Yeah. Okay, Sayyidi. وإن وجد القتيل. So, but this it limits the freedom. Do you understand? In the chapter of Jinayat, we are all Hanafis are limited, So you cannot do the reasoning. We are limited by the numbers, and you understand. So now it's not practical at all. Especially, for example, you saw the contradiction between the prices of 100 camels and 2,000 dinar. Do you remember? But unfortunately, we are just limited by this. Okay, Sayyidi. وإن وجد القتيل في سفينة فالقسامة على من فيها من الركاب والملاحين. And if that body is found in a boat, in a ship, so then the ones who are taking oath, it is the both passengers and the sailors. Mallah is sailor. وإن وجد في مسجد محلة فالقسامة على أهلها. So if the dead body is found in the mosque of some town, so then the people of that area, they are the ones who are taking the qasama. وإن وجد في الجامع أو الشارع الأعظم فلا قسامة فيه والدية على بيت المال. So obviously we have two types of mosques. We have Jami'a mosque and we have the mosque of the town, isn't it? So Jum'ah is not valid in the town masjid, isn't it? But it is only valid in the Jami'a mosque. So because Jami'a mosque is actually hub. Okay, so Jami'a mosque does not belong to anyone because it's very big, broad. So Qasama, no one takes it, but Baytul Mal will compensate. But what about the town, Masjid Mahalla, the small place? So people are there, very close. So it belongs to them, so they will take the responsibility. But what about big mosque? People, travelers come, because the mosque is very big. Okay, the city is very big, so people will come from all over the places. I mean, the travelers and everyone, so no one is responsible for that. The responsibility will go to the Baytul Mal. Okay, see. وإن وجد في برية ليس بقربها عمارة فهو هدر وإن وجد بين قريتين كان على أقربهما. So if that body is found in Bariya, Bariya is area with just empty area. Bariya is normally savannas are Bariya. Okay, so the places, empty places. Okay. So hadar means there is no any responsibility. Hadar. Okay, damuhu hadar, for example, means his blood is free. Hadar means no responsibility. وإن وجد بين قرية, and if it is between two towns, كان على أقرب, so the closest one, they are responsible. So if we read the biography of Umar radiallahu anhu and Ali radiallahu anhum, like a political biography of them, so you find all of that there. So it's just coming from them too. In my own understanding, obviously I love both Umar, but in my own understanding, political knowledge of Umar radiallahu anhu is superior. Ali, his superiority is only in one thing, religious knowledge. Political, social, Umar radiallahu anhu is way above him, you know. That's my understanding. Religious knowledge, for example, you know, the interpretation of Quran, that type of thing, Ali radiallahu, definitely no one can beat him. But in terms of like political things, I don't think Ali radiallahu anhu would come. Or maybe it could be that in the time of Ali radiallahu anh, the problems were already there, isn't it? Just so maybe because of that he was unable to do. But even in the time of Umar, there were a lot of problems, but he was in control properly, you know. Peace, you understand? So Allah Alam. So, but anyway, I do assume Umar radiallahu anh, his political intellect is just amazing. I don't know anyone else in Islam who would come close to that. Religiously, no, never can come to, you know, Ali is Ali in terms of, yeah. So Allah Alam.
Isn't there one story where someone mentions to Hazrat Ali that look, in Hazrat Umar's time everything was peaceful and in your time it was suffering? And he says, in Hazrat Umar's time he had advisors like me, and in my time we have.
There could be many reasons, yeah. What I'm saying could be very wrong also. But don't forget that during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, so many attempts of rebellion against Umar, until one succeeded, you know, that Abu Lu'lu'a, you know, the Persian slave of Mughira ibn Shu'ab. But Allah knows. So to be sure about it, we have to put Imam Ali during the period of Umar and to see Umar during then only we can be sure for 100%, or else it's just guesses, you know. Yeah. Wallahu alam. So definitely, so for example, in our time, I do assume if, for example, Umar radiallahu anh would be, for example, king of Saudi, definitely peace would be straight away within one day, because he doesn't show like a softness, you know. Ali has got that softness part. Do you remember his battle with Amr ibn al-As? Do you remember? Just because he showed his genitals, I just walked away. If it would be Umar, you know, kicking his genitals, what I show, I don't think Umar would. Do you understand? Tough guy, because I think that we need it. So if you show softness and shy person, how you are going to deal with these wild animals? You understand? No. Umar is much more superior in terms of political things. We need that harsh personality, you know. Are you playing with me? So here is, he used to beat, you know, the people. Are you playing? You know, striking. So people are very wild, you know. Desires, people are driven by animalistic desires, you know. So we need someone like Umar to fix that. Ali is soft guy, you know, the shy guy, showing, and no, it does not work. Umar is Umar in terms of like a political, and it was right decision to appoint him as like a political leader. Even Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, I don't think that was the right idea. He is also another soft person, soft, very gentle, very modest. You know. But Umar, he can be political leader. He's created to be political leader. Religiously, no. Ali is even superior to Abu Bakr in terms of religious knowledge. But political thing, Umar radiallahu anhu is quite tough. Okay, سيدي. وإن وجد في وسط الفرات يمر بها الماء فهو هدر. And also, if the dead body is found in the river, which was, the dead body was flowing, so that's also hadar. Okay, no responsibility. فإن كان محتبسا بالشاطئ فهو على أقرب القرى من ذلك. But what about if body is not flowing but it is stuck on the side, on the shore? So then the citizens of the closest place, they are taking the qasama. وإن ادعى الولي القتل على واحد من أهل المحلة بعينه لم تسقط القسامة عنهم وإن ادعى على واحد من غيرهم سقطت عنهم القسامة. So let's suppose that dead body is found in a small place, okay, in village, and the owner of the relative of the dead body claims that that specific person in that village is the killer. So 50 people are still responsible from that place. But what about if the relative will claim that the killer is in another village? So the people of this village, they are not responsible. And we go to investigate with that specific person and not the entire village. وإذا قال المستحلف قتله فلان استحلف بالله ما قتلت ولا علمت له قاتلا غير فلان. But what about if one of the 50 people will say, I know that such and such person has killed. Okay, so then he will take oath in the following way. By the name of God, I did not kill him, and I don't know anyone else but only that person who has killed. Okay. وإذا شهد اثنان من أهل المحلة على رجل من غيرهم أنه قتله لم تقبل شهادتهما. If two people in that village will give testimony against one person out of that village that he is the killer, so they are still responsible. Okay, so they will still take the qasama. Okay, Sayyidi. Anyway, now the chapter of al-ma'aqil. Okay, so ma'aqil is about the financial compensation. So who are the aqila? Who is going to? So it is to do with that explanation of the financial compensation. الدية في شبه العمد والخطأ وكل دية وجبت بنفس القتل على العاقلة. So the عاقلة are responsible for the compensation of شبه العمد and خطأ and any financial compensation which is due to the murderer. So all of that will go to the aqila. Okay, so what's the meaning of aqila? والعاقلة أهل الديوان. Okay, so أهل الديوان, Diwan is actually the register book of the Mujahideen. Okay, so even in our time we do have, do you know, warrior in reserve, isn't it? What do they call? Soldier in reserve. Do you know this term? Yeah, so when you go to, for example, pass a certain time of exercise, like a military, after that your name will be taken and included. If there is some war, so you will be called. What do they call? Did you understand? So that is the register book, that's D1. So your name is included into the D1. So who are the aqila? So he says aqila is ahlul diwan in kana al-qatilu min ahlul din. So if the killer is one of them, so the people who are included into the same register book, so they are your aqila. يؤخذ من عطاياهم في 3 سنين. So the entire diya will be taken from them during the time of 3 years. So because all of them will be getting some pension, isn't it? Some salary. Because you are soldier in reserve. So because of that, every month you get, for example, £300 because of that. Because whenever they need you, you have to go to fight for them. So because of that, you will be getting some pension, you will be getting some salary. So the diya will be taken from that. So you are taking 300 per month, but until the entire diya is paid off, you will be getting 250, because 50 will go to pay off the diya.
Will everybody fall into this register? They have like for each area?
Each area, yes, each area. So, but it's very possible that it's not area, but you are in the same book due to being trained in the same place. But you live in Scotland, yeah, but you and me, we trained in the same place. So like register book. فإن خرجت العطايا في أكثر من 3 سنين أو أقل منها أو أقل أخذ منها. Yeah, so the most important thing is the diya, the amount of diya, regardless if it will take longer than 3 years or shorter than that. The most important thing, we just pay off that amount. ومن لم يكن من أهل الديوان فعاقلته قبيلته. But if you are not one of the أهل الديوان, so then your tribe is responsible. تقسط عليهم في 3 سنين. So your family members will be paying it, like relatives will be paying it in 3 years. لا يزاد الواحد على 4 دراهم في كل سنة درهم ودانقان وينقص منها. And it will not be, so each single person will pay 4 dirhams maximum. So he says لا يزاد. So it will not be more than 4 dirhams. So if you remember, what is the 1 dirham? So it's silver. So 1 dirham is 3.45 grams. So it will not be more than that, وينقص منها, but it could be taken lesser than that. فإن لم تتسع القبيلة لذلك ضم إليهم أقرب القبائل إليهم. But what about if it is very small tribe? So do we ask them to make the payment twice? No. So it's maximum of 4 dirhams. But we ask the second closest tribe to them. Okay, so if it is Hassani, so we ask the Husseinis to join, for example. If it would be me, so I don't think we need, because I have about 10,000 members of my family in Iran and that area, Shia, Bahrain, Iraq, Kuwait, that area, and something similar in Egypt and Morocco. About 20,000 of my family members, tribe. We all have that, So you could be member of small family, but as a tribe, each of us will belong to the big tribes, Okay. ويدخل القاتل مع العاقلة فيكون فيما يؤدي مثل أحدهم. And the killer is one of them. So he will be making the same payment of 4 dirhams. وعاقلة المعتق قبيلة مولاه. But what about if it is a slave who is freed? So his عاقلة is the tribe of his master who freed him. So that is the wila. ومولى الموالاة يعقل عنه مولاه وقبيلته. And the مولى الموالاة, we spoke about it, if you remember, we said in Hanafi school it's quite weak connection. So it is, let's say, some person comes to me, Scottish white man, and says, I'm accepting Islam on your hand, so you will be my mawla. So if something happens, so I'm responsible, and my tribe will be his عاقلة. ولا تتحمل العاقلة أقل من نصف عشر الدية. And the minimum amount of the financial compensation which عاقلة carries is half of 10th of the diya. وتتحمل نصف العشر فصاع. So half of 10th and more. وما نقص من ذلك فهو في مال. But if it is lesser than that, so then the offender himself pays it from his own pocket. ولا تعقل العاقلة جناية العبد ولا تعقل الجناية التي اعترف بها الجاني إلا أن يصدقوه ولا تعقل ما لزم بالصلح. So عاقلة is not responsible for the crime committed by a slave. And also if it is crime which is committed by a person and he admits it, but they deny, so they are not responsible for that. And also let's suppose that there is crime, for example deliberate murderer, and killer agreed to make a payment to avoid the revenge. Aqla is not responsible for that payment, but the killer pays off by himself. وإذا جنى الحر على العبد جناية خطأ كانت على عاقلته. And also if a free man commits a crime by mistake, خطأ, by mistake to a slave, so there is compensation from the عاقلة of the free man will be paid to the master of the slave. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So next Saturday inshallah we will do the as we said, just overall, except few places which I have to comment. I'm going to comment on that inshallah. Thank you very much for coming today.